Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautoresto.com. I'd like to share with you another update. This is the 1966 Oldsmobile Delta 88 convertible. So you can see above me we've got the body is still up on one of our hoists here at Last Chance Auto Store, and we've made a tremendous amount of progress on the frame. So we just kind of tucked it away, and it's obviously backwards right now, but just we've been moving stuff around the shop. So we just pulled the frame away from the main fabrication section, and now it's going to go over to the prepping section in our shop. We're quite happy with the way the frame turned out. Now we've got quite a bit of grinding and sanding to do, but we're at the front driver section of the frame, and I think the camera can pick it out. Our lighting is a little bit questionable here, but you can see in the previous videos where we were cutting out all of the kind of cobbled up or little repairs that were done incorrectly before. We have the heavier plate that we used. We cut out the old bad stuff and welded in the new, and we even made the correct slot that the factory had, or the groove in the frame. And then as we come down the side, same idea. All of the rotted nasty stuff has been all cut out, and then we welded in this new really thick plate. And then the same thing on the bottom. As we mentioned in an earlier video, we have to go, I think the camera person can probably come around the passenger side to see this inner side, how far we had to go. So in an earlier video we shared with you, it's common practice for most people in the repair of frame, but here in Canada, Ontario safety standard states if you have any frame repair, you have to take the weakest point of the frame, and where that weakest point ends, you have to extend the repair a minimum of 6 inches longer or further, and that strengthens, and it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So basically you take the worst section, and then you find where like the pinholes or the rust stops, and then go an additional 6 inches further and cut into really solid metal, and then weld in a new metal. So on this side that you already had seen, on the outside part of the driver's side, it's all been done. And then you can see here along the front, it's pretty tricky because there's a bend in it and the metal is extremely thick. And then we have a keyway cut out with a groove here. So that was a two-piece pattern that we had to make, and we basically cut out the original piece that was solid, and then we bent this on our bender, and then made the appropriate size. Now along here it doesn't look like much, but this is a tremendous amount of work because you have to do it in sections. We had to make sure that the frame was jigged properly and supported so nothing shifted or moved, because in a full-size convertible you have to make sure that the frame doesn't flex or move around. So if you recall an earlier video, everything in this section was rotted really bad, and you could poke your pen through in numerous areas. And then even our transmission mount, there wasn't much holding the transmission mount to the frame, and it was completely rotted away in the passenger side that I'll share with you in a moment. So with the different bevels and angles of this frame, we made it in sections or in pieces. So we did this bottom section with the factory correct cutout that went all the way along to here, and then we cut out the rotted metal and then welded that in place. And then we had this upper ridge that's beveled, and then we cut that all out obviously, and then welded new in, and then repaired this mount. So then we had basically everything on this driver's side frame was done. So then we moved our attention over to the passenger side of the frame, and you can see same idea. We had to cut out the old nasty stuff and then weld in the new, and it's a really thick plate again. And on the inside here we made a new mount for it. So we basically copied the transmission mount that attaches to the frame. So this piece that we've added onto the frame, we made that from scratch. You can't buy them anywhere. So it's a duplicate of the factory original. So after we made that mount, pardon me, and this repair was all done, so same idea, cutting out that portion, welding in the new one, and then welded this new bracket that we made for the transmission, and then bolted everything in place. So now we have everything square as it should be. And then we've also done the bottom, which we'll share with you later. These bottom sections had to be cut out and weld it in too. So now that we have this part all done, now it's going to go into kind of our cleanup mode, and what we're going to do is clean all these areas up, and then we're going to treat all of the new metal with a 2-part black epoxy. And then once we have the new metal sealed with the 2-part epoxy, we'll replace, this is our fuel line, pardon me, and it's kinked in quite a few areas and a lot of rusted sections. So after we have the frame repaired and painted and cleaned up, then we'll run our new brake lines and our new fuel lines, and then we'll share with you another update what that looks like. But it doesn't look like much right now when you just go quickly with the video camera and show those, but it's an incredible amount of time and patience to get the frame correct and true, and now it's stronger than it's ever been. So just a quick update, this is the frame for the 1966 Oldsmobile Delta 88 convertible. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautoresto.com.